continue now with our narration of Swami Sri Yukteswar's The Holy Science. The introduction. Continuing. We left off with a dark prospect, and fortunately, one not true. Now, the mistake crept into almanacs for the first time during the reign of Raja Pariksha, just after the completion of the last descending Dwapara Yuga. At that time, Maharaja Yukteswar, noticing the appearance of the dark Kali Yuga, made over his throne to his grandson, the said Raja Pariksha. Maharaja Yukteswar, together with all the wise men of his court, retired to the Himalaya mountains, the paradise of the world. Thus, there was none in the court of Raja Pariksha who could understand the principle of correctly calculating the durations of the several yugas. Hence, after the completion of the 2,400 years of the then current Dwapara Yuga, no one dared to make the introduction of the dark Kali Yuga more manifest by beginning to calculate from its first year and to put an end to the number of Dwapara years. According to this wrong method of calculation, therefore, the first year of Kali Yuga was numbered 2,401, along with the age of Dwapara Yuga. In AD 499, when 1,200 years, the length of the true Kali Yuga, was complete, and the sun had reached the point of its orbit farthest from the grand center, when the autumnal equinox was on the first point of Libra in the heavens, the age of Kali, in its darkest period, was then numbered by 3,600 years instead of by only 1,200. With the commencement of the ascending Kali Yuga, after AD 499, the sun began to advance in its orbit, nearer to the grand center, and accordingly the intellectual power of man started to develop. Therefore, the mistake in the almanacs began to be noticed by the wise men of the time, who found that the calculations of the ancient rishis had fixed the period of one Kali Yuga at 1,200 years only. But as the intellect of these wise men was not yet suitably developed, they could make out only the mistake itself and not the reason for it. By way of reconciliation, they fancied that 1,200 years, the real age of Kali, were not the ordinary years of our earth, but were so many Daiva Yugas, or years of the gods, consisting of 12 Daiva months and 30 Daiva days each, with each Daiva day being equal to one ordinary solar year of our earth. Hence, according to these men, 1,200 years of Kali Yuga must be equal to 432,000 years of our earth. In coming to a right conclusion, however, we should take into consideration the position of the vernal equinox at spring in the year 1894. The astronomical reference books show the vernal equinox now to be 20 degrees, 54 feet, 36 inches distant. I think that's how you say that. That's how it reads. 20 degrees, 54 feet, 36 inches distant from the first point of Aries, the fixed star Ravati. And by calculation, it will appear that 1,394 years have passed since the time when the vernal equinox began to recede from the first point of Aries. Deducting 1,200 years, the length of the last ascending Kali Yuga, from 1,394 years, we get 194 to indicate the present year of the world's entrance into the ascending Dwapara Yuga. The mistake of older almanacs will thus be clearly explained when we add 3,600 years to this period of 1,394 years and get 4,994 years, which according to the prevailing mistaken theory represents the present year, AD 1894, in the Hindu almanacs. In this book, certain truths, such as those about the properties of magnetism, its auras, different sorts of electricities, etc., have been mentioned, although the modern science has not yet fully discovered them. The 5 sorts of electricity can be easily understood if one will direct his attention to the nerve properties, which are purely electrical in nature. Each of the 5 sensory nerves has its characteristic and unique function to perform. The optic nerve carries light and does not perform the functions of the auditory and other nerves. The auditory nerve, in its turn, carries sound only, without performing the functions of any other nerves, and so on. Thus it is clear that there are 5 sorts of electricity, corresponding to the 5 properties of cosmic electricity. So far as magnetic properties are concerned, the grasping power of the human intellect is at present so limited that it would be quite useless to attempt to make the matter understood by the general public. The intellect of man in Treta Yuga will comprehend the attributes of divine magnetism, and the next, in year 1894, the next Treta Yuga will start in about AD 4099. Well, that holds no matter what year it was written. The next Treta Yuga will start in AD 4099. There are indeed exceptional personages now living who have, being overcome the influence of time, can grasp today what ordinary people cannot grasp. But this book is not for those exalted ones who require nothing of it. In concluding this introduction, we may observe that the different planets, exercising their influence over the various days of the week, have lent their names to the respective days. Similarly, the different constellations of stars, having influence over various months, have lent their names to the Hindu months. Each of the great yugas has much influence over the period of time covered by it. Hence, in designating the years, it is desirable that such terms should indicate to which yuga they belong. As the yugas are calculated from the position of the equinox, the method of numbering the years in reference to their respective yuga is based on a scientific principle. Its use will obviate much inconvenience which has arisen in the past owing to association of the various years with persons of eminence rather than with celestial phenomena of the fixed stars. We therefore propose to name and number the year in which this introduction has been written as 194 Dwapara instead of AD 1894. 194 Dwapara, to show the exact time of the Yuga now passing. This method of calculation was prevalent in India till the reign of Raja Vikramaditya, when the Samvat era was introduced. As the Yuga method of calculation recommends itself to reason, we follow it and recommend that it be followed by the public in general. Now, in this 194th year of Dwapara Yuga, the dark age of Kali having long since passed, the world is reaching out for spiritual knowledge, and men require loving help from one another. The publishing of this book, requested from me by my holy Param Guru, Maharaj Babaji, will, I hope, be of spiritual service. Swami Sri Yukteswar Giri, Serampore, West Bengal, the 26th Falcon, 194 Yuga. That is to say, AD 1894. That concludes the book's introduction. In the following video, we will commence with Chapter 1, the Gospel, Sutra 1, which translated from Sanskrit says, Param Brahma, or Spirit or God, is everlasting, complete, without beginning or end. It is one, indivisible being. Again, Param Brahma, Spirit or God, is everlasting, complete, without beginning or end. It is one, indivisible being. We'll see you then in the next video.